Which one prevails politically? I mean, you're around the Gillard days. What's
cost
the
of
deal?
living hits everybody.
Right.
Everybody, whether you're the public servant, the tradie, the shop owner, the highfalutin, whatever, lawyer, earning truckloads of money, the cost of living still affects you.
Yeah.
100% of the population pay more for their insurance and school fees and all these other things.
Yeah, and by the way, if you've got more assets, you pay more too.
Correct. And it's only 10% or 20% of the population that've got the secure, safe job with a decent pay rise, as you said. So the cost of living impacts 100% of the population. Pensioners, young folk, young people at uni, getting out of uni with their HECS and they're sort of thinking, oh my God, rent's gone up. It hits everybody. Whereas the job that you might get in an aged care facility with a nice 15, 25% pay increase, great. There's not enough to offset the fact that the cost of living hits everyone. And that's why, well, apart from the Reserve Bank, the government's hoping like hell that inflation rate falls and falls quickly, because the election is only, 8 months away now.
Yeah, so just on that, do you think the RBA, the current government is sitting there hoping to themselves, we need a rate reduction, an RBA rate reduction before the next election?
They're hoping for it, yes. And do they need it? Well, Jim Chalmers, to his credit, and I'll give him credit for this, since he's been Treasurer, has always said the RBA is independent. Now, there's a debate whether he's saying the right thing, but, he does not, like Keating said, I've got the RBA in my pocket. Remember that?
Different terminology, but same thing.
And, whether that was true or not with Bernie Fraser back in the day, who knows? But Jim has said the RBA sets interest rates. They do their job. I do my job on government taxing and spending. They do it on interest rates. We talk, as they should. I hope they do, gosh. But at the end of the day, the Labor Party would really love to see a couple of rate cuts before the election, because it would be this sort of situation where rate cuts, people think, oh, thank goodness, I've got a couple of $100 off my monthly repayments. And of course, the discussion amongst us economists would be, there's probably more to come. So that, because there's not only going to be one or two cuts. When the cutting cycle starts, there will be multiple rate cuts coming through. And so politically, they could sort of get on their high horse and say, look, we had a problem, we had high interest rates, we had high inflation, but look, we've got through that problem, so vote for us.
Well, we're not as bad a manager as you want to say.
Yes, and in fact, we've got through this difficult time. And whether that wins votes or not, I don't know. I'm not into that space, but you can sort of see what they're hoping to achieve.
So let's look at apart from GDP and labour market, which came out today. GDP. Let me just get right.
Labour market was yesterday.
Came out yesterday.
Yeah.
So, what other markers? What other bits of data have we got that are hanging around before the next meeting?
Inflation. And
when's that come out? When's the next one?
In fact, we got the next one out this Wednesday. The monthly inflation.
But it's after she meets.
Correct. It's after the one, and the big one with the October board meeting will be the September quarter inflation numbers. Now.
So what's the talk now around Wednesday's inflation number, CPI?
Well, even this monthly one is really interesting, because I get all the banks' research and I really value it. They're smart economists in the financial markets. But just the two that struck me were both Westpac and Commonwealth Bank economists, their economics teams. They're saying that the effect of this subsidy on electricity prices, that $75 a quarter that came through in our bills this quarter.
Post the last budget.
Yep, which was a government policy initiative, and plain and simple, to ease cost of living pressures, is going to see electricity prices drop 16% in the month. That will shave at least 0.5, 0.6 off your monthly inflation rate.
But for the month.
For the month only.
Yep.
We've got a 0.6 dropping out of the run rate from a year ago. So the annual figure is going to be, hold on to your hat, 2.7.
Yeah, so 3.8 down to 2.7.
Target band.
That's the headline.
The headline will be distorted. Yeah, it will be distorted by that insurance. The electricity subsidy that's coming through.
But for the month.
For the month, and it'll continue for 12 months until that subsidy disappears in 1 July 2025.
But that's not a quarterly. That's not going to contribute too much to the quarterly run rate.
It'll help drop the run rate down to under 3. We'll have a headline figure under 3. Now, the question is, I think we discussed this last time, is that the RBA know that it's a distortion.
Of course they do.
And I'm 60-40 on it. Yes, it's a lower cost of living. It's a good thing in that people are paying less for electricity. If the inflation rate comes in at 2.7 for the month and for the quarter, wages at 3.5, it is a true cost of living measure because I'm not paying as much for electricity because of this subsidy. Fine. But from the RBA's perspective, and this is where there's strong element of truth, is that the RBA is setting interest rates to adjust how much you and I and everybody listening spends in the economy. They want us to trim our spending so that businesses don't increase their prices, maybe lower them, so that inflation comes back under control. The government could do all sorts of things on beer excise and petrol excise and get inflation down. That's not how you do it. You manage demand, spending in the economy to meet inflation, and that's why the Reserve Bank will look at what we call the trimmed mean inflation rate, which takes out the extremely volatile items, and of course electricity will be minus 16%, a very volatile item, and they'll look at this underlying or core inflation rate, and that's probably still going to be in the low 3s, 3.25, 3.4.
Still an improvement though.
On improvement, it's trending down. As Michelle Bullock, I'm sure will say, it's trending down, but we'd like it to fall faster.
Yeah. And more.
We'd like it to fall more and quicker and sooner.
Yeah.
And until it does, we're on hold.